In today's explosive hearing, Senator Chuck Schumer exposes shocking allegations involving Qatar, a $400 million jet linked to Donald Trump, and Pam Bondi's evasive responses that raised even bigger questions.
Without objection.
Madam President, news of the Qatari government gifting Donald Trump a $400 million private jet to use as Air Force One is so corrupt that even Putin would give a double take.
A foreign government gifting Donald Trump a $400 million jet isn't a perk, it's a national security alarm. And when Senator Schumer says AG Pam Bondi personally signed off on it, this stops being politics and becomes a constitutional emergency.
This is not just naked corruption, it is also a grave national security threat. So in light of the deeply troubling news of a possible Qatari-funded Air Force One and the reports that the Attorney General personally signed off on this clearly unethical deal, I am announcing a hold on all DOJ political nominees until we get more answers. Here are some questions that must be answered. First, I call on the DOJ's Foreign Agent Registration Act Unit, or the FARA unit, to do its job and disclose all activities by Qatari foreign agents inside the U.S. that could benefit President Trump or the Trump Organization. Since Attorney General Bondi took charge, the Department of Justice has not been doing its job when it comes to FARA. The FARA unit needs to enforce the law and inform the public of all activities, not just on this luxury plane deal, but all deals involving foreign countries in the Middle East and President Trump, his family, and the Trump Organization. Second, with regard to this $500 million private jet deal, the American people deserve to know the facts. President Trump has told the American people this is, quote, a free jet. Does that mean the Qataris are delivering a ready on day one plane with all the security measures already built in? If so, who installed those security measures? And how do we know they were properly installed? Why would we take the risk of trusting any foreign country to do this sensitive work? If not, what security modifications would be needed to ensure a foreign-sourced Air Force One is safe to use? If this is, as President Trump promised, a free jet, will the Qataris pay for those highly sensitive installations, or will American taxpayers cover the cost? How much will those modifications cost American taxpayers? Hundreds of billions of dollars? Hundreds of millions of dollars? Billions of dollars? How much will they cost? If the American taxpayers are forced to pay for this temporary plane, does it mean the U.S. government will cancel the contract for the future Boeing plane? If so, how much will that cancellation cost? And if not, why are American taxpayers being asked to spend hundreds of millions of dollars or more on a plane that will only be used for a year or two? Additionally, who in the Trump administration was responsible for this crooked deal? What are the parameters of this deal? And which country brought it up first, us or them? What is Qatar being offered in return? Considering past security disasters, such as the U.S. Embassy in Moscow, what are the security risks of this arrangement? And finally, how is this gift not naked corruption? The Attorney General must testify before both the House and Senate to explain why gifting Donald Trump a private jet does not violate the Emoluments Clause, which requires congressional approval, or any ethics law. So, until the Attorney General explains her blatantly inept decision, and we get complete and comprehensive to these and other questions, I will place a hold on all political nominees to the Department of Justice.
In a stunning and fiery moment on Capitol Hill, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer delivered one of the most blistering takedowns of the year, exposing what he describes as deeply troubling connections between former President Donald Trump, high-rolling Qatari interests, and an alleged $400 million private jet arrangement that has sparked outrage across the political spectrum. Schumer didn't hold back as he laid out the timeline, the questions, and the uneasy optics surrounding Trump's post-presidency dealings and the political allies who continue defending him, even as the situation raises concerns about foreign influence, undisclosed gifts, and the integrity of American institutions. At the center of Schumer's criticism stood former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, who has long acted as one of Trump's most loyal defenders and public advocates. During the tense exchange, Schumer called out Bondi directly, saying that the American people deserve transparency, not evasions, not political spin, and not excuses crafted to shield powerful individuals from answering basic questions. He argued that when a former president appears to benefit from foreign luxury assets, whether officially gifted or quietly loaned, Congress has a responsibility to demand clarity, especially when those assets come from a nation deeply involved in U.S. security negotiations. Schumer emphasized that the issue isn't just about Trump or even Qatar, it's about the integrity of democratic oversight. If a former president is flying around the world on what critics describe as a floating palace in the sky, valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, while his allies in government refuse to answer questions about it, then accountability becomes impossible. Schumer pressed Bondi on why she continued to dodge even the simplest inquiries. Did Trump receive the aircraft? Was it a loan? A gift? A business arrangement? If so, what were the terms? And why does every inquiry seem to lead to more silence? Bondi, who has been scrutinized before for her closeness to Trump, attempted to deflect, repeatedly emphasizing procedural points and accusing Democrats of staging a political spectacle. But Schumer pushed back harder, telling her that transparency is not partisan, that Americans deserve to know whether powerful political figures are entangled in foreign financial relationships that could influence decisions, statements, or future campaigns. He accused her of choosing loyalty to one man over loyalty to the truth, and demanded an answer to the core question: why can't you give the American people a straight response? The hearing room grew silent as Schumer detailed how foreign nations, including Qatar, have a long record of courting global influencers through lavish hospitality and luxury accommodations, raising concerns among national security experts. Schumer made clear that he wasn't alleging criminal behavior, but he insisted that the optics alone demanded scrutiny, especially when foreign governments stand to gain from political goodwill. Nobody, he said, not a president, not a former president, not a candidate, is above answering questions. And when Schumer turned his attention back to Bondi, the tension spiked. He asked why she had consistently positioned herself in the role of gatekeeper whenever Trump faced tough questions, from his finances to his foreign relationships. He argued that her pattern of protecting Trump from oversight had become a public disservice, not a public duty. The message was unmistakable. If you step into the hearing room representing someone with global influence, expect to be accountable for your statements. Schumer declared that the American public is tired of political figures dodging questions with rehearsed talking points, tired of foreign wealth casting shadows over domestic politics, and tired of elected officials acting like transparency is optional. He demanded that Bondi stop hiding behind procedural language and simply state what she knows. The exchange quickly went viral online, with viewers praising Schumer's intensity and frustration over evasive testimony that has become all too familiar in congressional hearings. The moment symbolized something larger, an emerging battle over what level of foreign involvement Americans are willing to tolerate in their political leaders' lives. Schumer's closing words resonated strongly. This isn't about politics, it's about trust. And if former President Trump wants to earn the trust of the American people again, he needs to show it starting with the truth.